Hello everyone, Acres Greenbed here, your affable garden guru, and today we're talking about the hot trends for gardening in 2023. Now I don't know about you, but some people like to be trendy, while others like to go against the trends. No matter which side of that coin you fall on, this video will be handy for you, so you can either get on trend or avoid them. And besides just learning about what's new, and sometimes old to be honest, and popular for 2023, you just might learn about some new gardening techniques or plants you've never heard of. Let's get into it and turn those thumbs nice and green for 2023. Hot gardening trend number 5. No lawns, or rather, lawn substitutes. If you've tried to maintain a green lawn year-round, you know just how much maintenance they require. From reseeding to fertilizer to chemicals for weeds, they take a lot of work. With every passing year, it seems more and more people feel like that iconic green lawn of the American dream in the 1950s is becoming an outdated, wasteful ideal. I'm going to do several videos on lawn substitutes because I think there are a few ways you can go about eliminating your yard. Some people want to replace their grass with the closest alternative they can find, which tends to be steppable ground covers, from blue star creeper to creeping thyme. Apparently lawn replacement can get pretty creepy. Get it? Because the okay, not funny. I know. You've told me this before. Stop making jokes. Well, regardless of the level of creepiness in your lawn replacement, if you're going for steppable ground covers, there are a lot of options out there. Here are a few: golden scotch moss, creeping thyme, blue star creeper, ajuga, and golden creeping jenny. What did I say? A lot of creepers. Other people are choosing a more drastic route when replacing their lawns. They'll go with wildflowers, clover, mulch, or even rocks. A lot of this will depend on which area of the country you're in, but if you want to be trendy in 2023, ditch the green grass and find an alternative. Kind of hard to play catch in a rock bed though. Hot trend number 4, xeriscape. Have you seen that word before? Although it sounds a lot like xeriscape, it's actually quite different. The technical definition of xeriscape is a style of landscape design requiring little or no irrigation or other maintenance, used in arid regions. Arid, of course, means little to no rain. While this is technically true, I feel the term can be applied to non-arid regions as well. It's basically using native plants to landscape your yard. By using native plants, in theory, you'll not need to water extra during the summer. Not only does this save on resources, but it also cuts down on the amount of time you'll have to spend watering and maintaining your yard. So why is xeriscape a hot trend in 2023? Well, much like the motivation behind ditching the traditional lawn, this trend has ties to water conservation as well, and certain parts of our country could certainly benefit from conserving water. Have you seen the state of Lake Mead lately? Now, how do we get rid of all those golf courses in the desert? Just a quick note, if you're wondering what xeriscape is, it's just basically no plants. Kind of like this. Hot trend number 3. I'm calling this one the new Victorians. Go with me on this journey for a moment. Have you ever dreamed of a sprawling cottage-style garden where the vine roses mingle with the hollyhock and hydrangeas, the butterflies flit between your perennials and wildflower cutting garden as you picnic with your favorite person? Well, you're not alone. I read somewhere that this trend is growing in popularity because of Netflix's uber-popular Victorian-era show, Bridgerton, which I thought was giving a lot of credit to one show. There are a lot of us original Victorian core gardeners who've long thought an elevated cottage-style garden is the ideal garden. I mean, just ask, well, the Victorians? The trend for 2023 seems to combine the naturalistic style of cottage gardens with a bit more of a manicured space, which totally makes sense in my mind. Everyone on social media seems to want to curate their own aesthetic, and what's more 2023 than trying to curate something that's not really supposed to be all that curated? I'm okay with the trend. I've long been a fan of Victorian-era gardens, designed by the masters of the time, as well as the cottage-style look. Combining the two is like saying, I want a Victorian garden, but I don't want to do all that work. To achieve this look in your garden, go for casual but not disorganized, with a palette of pink, purple, and white, and pretty delicate foliage. White fences, gravel or brick pathways, and bird baths and benches. I'm looking forward to seeing all these suburban homes planting English ivy in 2023 to get their elevated cottage garden look. Kidding, don't plant English ivy, it will take over everything, no matter how much it makes your suburban home look like a Victorian-era cottage. Don't do it. Hot trend number 2. Vertical gardening. Hey, People with small yards or no yards deserve a garden too, and that's where vertical gardening comes in. More than just growing a vine up a trellis, vertical gardening has come a long way, and 2023 is going to be its breakout year. Vertical gardening can be as simple as planting columnar trees and plants that grow in a column-like fashion, in pots, but it can also be more extensive than that. Sure, there's the good old trellis and vine combo I mentioned, but nowadays they've got all sorts of vertical planting structures and plant walls available. You can either make them yourselves or buy them. You can grow everything from vegetables and herbs vertically to annuals and perennials. When it comes to vertical gardening, you're only limited by your space and your imagination. Just remember, if you're gardening on the 5th floor of a condo patio, that water that drains from the pot has to go somewhere, and that somewhere is going to be down. Try not to make your neighbors angry. Okay, before I get to the #1 gardening trend for 2023, I've got to remind you to please subscribe and turn on notifications. It's a huge help with the YouTube algorithm, and frankly, makes my heart happy. Hot trend #1. Gardening for your mental health. I mean, we all know that gardening makes us feel good and puts us in a better mood, but I never thought I'd be talking about the direct connection between gardening and mental health. I've always just viewed it as a positive byproduct. This trend for 2023 isn't just simply the idea that gardening in general is good for your health, although it is. It's more about making gardening choices to maximize those effects. It's about creating a space that brings you the most happiness possible. There are a lot of ways people can interpret this idea. Some people might take it as picking plants that give you joy to tend to, rather than those that drive you crazy to maintain, no matter how pretty they are, or plants that you personally like for whatever reason, versus plants that you planted because you quote-unquote should plant them. See, geraniums. Not a fan. For me, however, this is about the overall feeling of your garden. If you've spent time touring different style gardens, you've no doubt had a more joyful reaction to certain styles of gardens than others. How can you make your garden elicit those joyful feelings in you? At the end of the day, it's about making choices in your garden that make you the happiest or bring you the most peace of mind. So what do you think of these trends for 2023? Agree? Disagree? Do you have any to add? Let's hear from you in the comments. As always, if you've got an idea for a video, be sure and suggest it. As I end this video, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to the legend Dave Lambert, the world's greatest high school horticulture teacher. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications button because one Garden Guru video is never enough. I'm Acres Greenbed, turning thumbs green, one video at a time, wishing everyone happy gardening.